Change in a long-running franchise can be hard to deal with from loyal fans. There's something about messing with a tried-and-true formula that can just rub people the wrong way. Now, the first games in the Castlevania series, Simon's Quest excluded, were strict linear action platformers. There was no leveling up, there was no backtracking, there was no management of a bunch of items. People liked it that way. It was simple, you could just fire up your NES or Super Nintendo and get right into the action. But Konami had other ideas for the series. They were slowly changing it into a game focused on exploration, leveling up, and item management, and although later games in the series use this formula very well, 2001's entry on the Game Boy Advance isn't as great. This is Castlevania Circle of the Moon. Castlevania Circle of the Moon's story is definitely easy to grasp for fans of the earlier games. You play as Nathan, a young man that has just been separated from his companions by the trademark villain of the series, Dracula. There's very little introduction, and the game really lets you jump right into the action after this basic premise is explained. It's actually one of the game's strongest points. It doesn't make you sit through 20 minutes of narrative before starting the game. The downside, I guess, is that it doesn't really give any backstory for newcomers to the series, but a quick read on the internet will get you caught up. It's not that complicated. Gameplay in Castlevania Circle of the Moon is similar to games like Harmony of Dissonance, with Nathan controlling his whip, throwing items, collecting hearts, and doing a fair amount of platforming. However, the difference in Circle of the Moon is that nothing is executed nearly as well. Hit detection is horrific, platforming doesn't feel as fresh or as exciting as other games in the series, and enemies are just frustrating instead of providing a fair challenge. The game also features item management, letting you equip different items and weapons and use consumables like antidote. Now, item management alone isn't a fault, but the game makes you do it so much that it really starts to feel like a chore. This overly nitpicky and complicated style of play isn't what Castlevania is supposed to be about. Castlevania Circle of the Moon features the exploration style that has become common in recent Castlevania games. You'll be doing a lot of searching, looking in every corner to make sure you didn't miss anything. Again, this could be a lot of fun, and to a degree, it was in games like Harmony of Dissonance and Aria of Sorrow, but everything in Circle of the Moon just seems so bland. It's not like this element of the game doesn't work, but it just feels really uninspired. Audio in Circle of the Moon is what you'd expect from Castlevania. The music is wonderful, giving that creepy atmosphere that the series has made its signature, and sound effects are great. For an early Game Boy Advance game, it looks pretty good as well, but putting it up next to the later Game Boy Advance games really shows how far we've come. Castlevania Circle of the Moon may have been a fairly good launch title for the Game Boy Advance, but since there are two far superior Castlevania games on the system, there really isn't much of a reason to pick this up. I was really looking forward to playing this, but I was left wondering what all the hype was about.